You're good to go.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone into the February meeting of the Citizens Police Review Board. I know we have at least one excused member, our chair, Dr. Gercio, and I also believe Director Pittenger won't be joining us tonight. Stephanie, do you know if anyone else is not in attendance today?
Nope. Seems like everyone's here. I'm
right.
letting Krista in and Mr. Kotler's in.
All right. Well, that's great. So we have a quorum. I do know an agenda has gone out prior to this meeting. I think the first order of business is to approve the minutes from our December 2nd meeting. We did not meet in January due to the weather. So we still have to kind of approve those minutes from a while back. I think they were also shared in January. If there are no corrections, I'll welcome a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
And can we get a second?
I'll second.
All right. I don't think any other discussion. All those in favor of approving the minutes as submitted?
Aye.
Aye.
Any of those opposed? All right. The ayes have it, and the December 2, 2025 minutes are approved. As for our agenda tonight, we have our board business, which we have some speakers as well. We'll follow that with the case reviews, and we'll have some time for some public comment at the end, and we do limit the speakers to 3 minutes. Before we get to the reports, I would like to congratulate our colleague and former board member, Sheldon Williams, as I've seen that his appointment to the Director of Public Safety has been conferred by City Council. So I just want to kind of acknowledge that. I know we talked about it in December, but he has since been confirmed. I guess the first order of business is the chair's report. And as I mentioned, Dr. Gercio is not with us tonight, so I don't believe we had any report from her. And I know Director Pittenger is out, but I think Ms. Hampton, you have something for us tonight?
Yes, and I just want to acknowledge that Ms. Strokowski has joined us and Chief Lando has joined us. Hi, Laura. I just want to give you a quick case, our numbers. We have 3 citizen complaints, 1 executive director, 1 general service, and 14 pending for a total of 19 current cases through February. And I was going to introduce our investigator Muller to talk a little bit about a project we're working on. Take it away, Muller.
Okay. Hi. So we are putting together a resource packet. I think is the best way to frame it, just regarding the immigration things that are happening here in Pittsburgh. We don't want to recreate the wheel in any way, shape, or form, but we are putting together a little business card with some know your rights, things to look out for, ways to stay safe. And then there will be a QR code there that you can scan to a larger PDF document, which is a resource packet that we have put together, just combing hundreds of different things. So we put just a little bit of know your rights, a little bit of emergency preparedness, a little bit of who you can reach out to, things like that. Because, and then of course that reinforcing that we as Pittsburgh Bureau of Police, they are not cooperating with ICE. If you see that, let CPRB know. Always, if you see any misconduct, let CPRB know. And just some helpful coping type skills. Just, we want to be involved. This is an important moment, and we want to reach out and connect with the community in any way we can. We've also reached out to a couple of other city departments just to share our first sort of draft, thoughts, collaboration. We reached out to Casa San Jose. We have contacts there already. So just wanting to be in the mix in this moment in time. I don't know. Was that about it, Stephanie? You want have anything to add?
Nope, that was great. Thank you. Sorry, I was trying to find the mute.
All right, thank you, Karina. I guess moving on, Chief Lando, I'd like to introduce you or give you some space to speak. And also, I guess I do apologize. I saw you yesterday and neglected to tell you happy birthday. So I want to wish you a belated birthday.
Thank you. People ask what
Yay, happy
I did.
birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. People asked what I did yesterday, and I said I worked 14 hours and then went home and sat on the couch, ate a TV dinner, and returned emails all night. So it was very special. But thank you all for having me tonight. I'm glad to be here. I just wanted to really just make myself available to answer any questions that anyone had, and maybe just kind of touch on 4 of the big priorities that we're looking at in the police department. We have a lot of stuff on our radar and a lot of stuff that we have to work on, but I really want us to focus on 4 major areas. And I think it's important that when I speak about our priorities, I talk, the same, whether it's internally or externally. I think it's important that everyone's hearing the same thing. So for me, violence and quality of life crimes, it always has to be our number 1 focus. Right now, I think we're in a really good position, seeing a significant decrease in violent crime since last year. But we still have to address some of the quality of life crimes that we're dealing with all over the city, really. But in particular, we're getting hit pretty hard in downtown and in the South Side. So addressing those, number 1. Officer wellness and resiliency is, I would say, our second biggest priority. And I did request in this budget, since it's been reopened, I did request a full-time wellness coordinator for the police department. This person is a clinician, but they've also traveled around the world building wellness programs for organizations, and they would be willing to come to Pittsburgh to take this on. And so right now, just waiting to see if that's something that gets approved in the budget. Third is professional development. So our sergeants and our lieutenants and our commanders have the necessary tools and training to properly lead. And, that's something that in my entire career has always been an issue. And it's not just here in Pittsburgh. It's kind of a national trend where we promote people to leadership positions, but we don't give them the tools that they need to truly know how to lead. So I have a professional leadership development coach, and he's currently embedded with a police department out in the Midwest. And he said that he would be willing to come here and take on that role. He came here many years ago under contract and really enjoyed it, and he says, I'd love to finish what I started. So that's the other position that I asked for in the budget. I'm waiting to hear back on that. And then lastly, the 4th, I think, big bullet point is recruitment and retention. And we want to, focus on diversity recruitment, but also, in addition to recruitment, looking at what are we doing to make the police department a place that people want to stay for 20 years or more, and not come and get great training and great experience and then leave for the suburbs. So those are our 4 big priorities that we're working on. And I just wanted to, come here this evening and see if anyone had any questions or thoughts for me. So I don't want to take up too much more time, but thank you for having me.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate your sharing your priorities there. And also just appreciate you coming out and speaking with the board and us this evening. Did anybody have any questions or feedback for the chief? All right, hearing none, I guess we'll let you go, Chief, and I'm sure I'll see you around here shortly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time tonight, Chief. Good luck.
Absolutely. And if I see Laura's on the line, so if she knows how to get a hold of me, if anyone ever has any questions or needs any follow-up, please just shoot me an email or give me a call. I'm always happy to help.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I guess we'll invite our next speaker, Laura Dragowski, Deputy Director of Public Safety. The floor is yours, Laura. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you for the promotion. I am assistant director and I'm hoping to stay that way. And I also
Okay.
see a lot of familiar faces. Commander Dixon, I always love seeing you. Hi.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I know some of the folks on here. I had the opportunity to meet Sherry and did I meet I can't see your faces now. Was it Krista who I met at the Zone 4 Public Safety Council meeting?
Yes.
Miss Stephanie, I've known you, and so and Ray, I've known you too. So for those I haven't met, I started with the city in 2017 and was afforded the opportunity to propose and start the Office of Community Health and Safety in 2020. I think you've had some interactions with our office over time, so I don't want to belabor the point, but I will say that we wanted to start this sometime before we did. Um, Political will is a tricky thing. Money is even trickier. And obviously the events in 2020 and George Floyd's death galvanized a great deal of support. But for a long time, and Commander Dixon and I worked together, it was very clear that I always describe it as if it was a fire, a flood, a landslide, a down power line, some catastrophic event. Fire often takes primary on that. If it's a medical emergency, EMS takes primary on that. And if it's anything else in the universe of a 911 response, police take primary on that. Officers very willingly said, we need help. They did not reject the concept of support. It's just that we needed to work really closely with them to figure out what was going to work, what was going to solve the challenges, and what was going to be safe, because I know we always want to prioritize safety. Oh my gosh, sorry, I have this light sensor that if I don't move enough, the lights turn off in my office. It keeps things lighting. So we initially thought that we would contract partners to be part of co-response, crisis response, and other work because frankly, the city hadn't done it and we didn't want to do it poorly. But it became pretty clear pretty quickly that the scale we needed, the connections we needed, and the type of work we needed, a lot of the provider community are very overtaxed and have a lot on their plates to begin with. And given the type of work, it is work that you all can relate to, which is an interesting space between advocacy and what some people think is complicity. And we really worked to change that, which was more of a partnership model. We recognize we're not always going to agree with our partners in public safety, but we want to figure out how we get to a solution. So where we started in terms of the vision is not dissimilar from where we stand with some notable exceptions. I know you're all very aware of the co-response to crisis response transition. I think there are really significant merits to both and would always welcome your feedback on that. I know that Director Williams was still part of the body when that transition was occurring. Chief Lando and I have been working closely, and our working model now is that we bring back co-response because there are calls, but not to the exclusion of crisis response. There are calls that have a significant safety component and can be meaningfully addressed by an officer clinician partnership. We think a lot about IPV, PFA calls where there is some either historic or potential safety threat. There are enough calls to keep that staff busy just focusing on that. Where we've lost some ground, I think, is in our partnerships with EMS and fire. That doesn't mean we don't also partner with police, but we have a lot of patterns of high utilization, whether it's around hoarding, mental health, untreated medical conditions. Inevitably, these calls do end up not only in bad outcomes, but also a lot of police involvement because people get frustrated, they get stressed, the police get called. There's a 302 commitment in the city, the police transport for 302s, which is an involuntary psychiatric commitment. So our thinking, the thinking before was transition to a fully clinical model. I think as I said, there's a lot of merits. We're lacking some meaningful connections with the police right now, and that's a work in progress on relationships and trust and restoration of some partners. But I think that the other half of that is that we are thinking instead, and this is like not official, so I'm going to fish this with you first, something more akin to an integrated response model. So alternative response, I think, was all the rage in 2020. We looked at models like Cahoots and Denver Star, which were doing a non-police response. Even Chief Lando in Frederick had an integrated team where I think he had something like a clinician, an EMT, sometimes a firefighter, sometimes a police officer. What we're thinking is a community medic, a clinician, and possibly outreach. I think this allows us for a very broad response capacity. If we work with Pittsburgh EMS, which we fully intend to do, the benefit there is that we also don't step on union contracts, so we can do dispatch and transport. EMS gets an enormous number of very low acuity calls. So if we have medical professionals with us, we can assess, triage those, and take some of the burden off. But that also allows us access to that patient in their home to provide more meaningful support than EMS has the time to do. One of the biggest issues that we see with our 911 partners is just that they're call to call, and whether it is perceived or actual, kind of like, what is the next call? We got to bring this to a head. We told our staff that call volume is important, but it is not the best measure of what we're doing. If we do a third of the calls that we've done before, but we have 40% meaningful outcomes, which remains to be defined, but we're moving people through the housing process. We're addressing high utilization of calls. We're stabilizing people in their homes. We're addressing hoarding. That's more impact than us going to 10,000 calls, houses once, and not changing the outcome for that person. That's not to say we don't want to be in the response continuum, and we don't want to be able to interrupt when a situation is escalating to a crisis, to a violent incident. But I think that there's a lot more to be done. The other thing that we're just objectively seeing is a lot of siloing within our office. I think that's because the office was built sort of like a project manager would build an office. And we fully expect that if one team is working with someone and there's another person in another team who can do meaningful support around diversion, overdose, and substance use support, that there's no reason that that team member shouldn't be brought into kind of a care team to help that person. But I think that we don't bill, right? We're not on a billing cycle, so we don't need to client guard, and there just are some historic behaviors that I don't think are the fault of our staff, but that were primarily based on a purely numbers-driven set of outcomes. But we're having, like the crisis team is doing great work. I think we can sort of integrate and conquer in terms of more call volume. So that's what we're looking at. And I told Director Pittenger, is that the right title? Director Pittenger? Yes, Executive Director Pittenger.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Assistant Director Stephanie. That we are going to do this with people, not to people. So our plan our goal is that when we have a slightly more cogent plan, we're going to bring that to you and ask that you provide your guidance, your insight, your concerns. We don't want to build things that fail. We don't want to build things that are harmful. We want durable support. So that's where we stand now. A lot of talking on my end, and I apologize, Ray, for keeping that going. But if you have any questions, I like Chief Lando. I'll give you my personal cell, my work cell. It's like Sam I am when he likes green eggs and ham. You can call me on a plane, on a train, on a boat, anytime. In particular, we don't have 24/7 staffing, and I feel like it's my obligation until we do to make sure those calls are received and that I can help to triage with our staff when needs need to be met. So I'm here, and I'm here for it. But yeah, Ray, if I don't know what the format is, and I've talked in a big block of text, so you tell me what.
Yes, thank you, Laura. I did have a question. I was following what you think. One, thanks for sharing that. I'm encouraged by what you're planning to do there. But I thought I heard you say you are looking to go back to a co-response model.
So what we're terming it, and I think there's a lot of different ways to say it, is a blended model. So we will have co-response and integrated response. And what we're looking for is to keep the co-response team in situations where there's a potential threat. We don't need officers will acknowledge we do not need officers on a lot of these calls. They're busy. We don't need to take up their time. I think with co-response, it may allow us to be primary on more calls that are police involved, which may be able to, and Commander Dixon is a person who could speak to this more in depth than I can, but that would at least allow us to mitigate a perceived threat or a concern, have officers off scene a little faster. We do find that officers sometimes want to stay longer because of their training. They do not want to leave unarmed responders on a scene if there's any perceived threat. The original goal of co-response was a little more like a Trojan horse. We get this, we get it established, then we build out alternative response, and then we see where the value of co-response is. And if we ultimately just sort of move fully to an integrated response, alternative response, I think that the way this transition occurred has caused some extremely deep rifts with our partners across public safety because it did really happen to them. It was announced to the team, and the rest of our public safety partners found out through texts in the media. So from a transition perspective, if we had gotten to a point where co-response didn't seem relevant anymore, that would have been a slow and thoughtful transition, but instead it interrupted a program that had tremendous merit and success. And so we think that by blending the programs, we can kind of find our sweet spots and either, right size co-response, fully go to integrated response, but we're not committing to that because we've got to see what's going to be effective.
Okay, thank you. I guess, is the plan to roll this out like on a zone basis, or it'd be a citywide unit?
So good question. Previously co-response was focused on zones 1, 2, and 5. And crisis response has moved onto the radio channels. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 4, 5. The Chief Lando rightly has articulated that we need to move to the radio channels for co-response. So that will be a unit for 1 and 2, a unit for 3 and 6, and a unit for 4 and 5. So we'll have full city coverage for co-response. We are also looking to extend the hours because obviously a lot happens after 4 p.m. And even more complicated is a lot of providers are closed. So the resources that daylight has are not available to our PM and overnight shifts and our weekend folks. So we would probably, we intend to do both on the radio channels. So we'll have integrated response units and co-response units on the radio channels, ideally starting with 3 of each. This might be a little bit of an ambitious goal, but we know different communities have different needs. Zone 3 has the highest number of behavioral health crises. We'd like to think of it that we can tailor our response. If we ever got to the point where we had a unit per zone, we may look at different integrated teams based on the zone because we do want to be adaptive to the community who's there. And as I don't know if you've ever met our Roots partners reaching out on the street, our homelessness support partners in our office. But we do also try very hard to hire from our communities when we have strong candidates there because as hard as boundaries can be, those are also trusted faces and people and names in the community. And we find that we just have significant, as you all would know, significantly greater relationships and outcomes for people when they begin with trust.
Thank you for clarifying that. Any other members have any questions for Laura?
I have a question, but it's not necessarily for Laura, it's for the fellow board. So does this basically overwrite the presentation from December? It's a continuation of that plan, Ms. Alarcon, what was her name? Alarcon.
Mila Alarcon-Chalecki, yep.
So is this basically a continuation of that, or is this replacing that plan?
I'm a little embarrassed to say I don't know that I've seen the plan.
Okay.
And so I can take a look at it. I've been working very closely with, so we have sort of program managers over each of, if you will, like the service lines. So Caitlin Zeke, I think may have spoken to you. I've been working very closely with Caitlin on this. So this is something that, not just buy-in, this is like, she's developed this with us. And I've worked with, Chief Lando and the hierarchy within police and the officers. We had a meeting last week with the officers who were previously involved in co-response to understand their questions, concerns. So these will be this is not something that as a mandate from the new administration, we wiped out what was previously done there. I'm trying to say this delicately. The transition from co-response may not have been based on effectiveness so much as some interpersonal. And now I don't know if these are public minutes, yikes.
They are, just so you know, and we follow you, so.
Yeah, I want to be thoughtful here. I think that there
Yep.
were a lot of challenges. These are not easy programs to establish, and I want to give all respect and credit to my colleagues. It's generally just that there also were some really challenging situations that probably could have been addressed differently, and our intention is to address them differently going forward.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I had concerns with the unit going away and the plan the plan presented to us. There were some concerns, but it was just a plan. So there's nothing to really raise any red flags at. So I understand what you're getting at. Happy to hear it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we don't throw stuff out because it belonged to someone else or it has someone else's name on it. Our entire goal is just to do what is going to serve our community best and address the needs. And so, I don't really worry about who came up with it, though always want to give credit to people who do the work, but rather we need something that's going to work. And I think that an adaptive blended model, we feel like is going to have, good buy-in and really great success.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And you mentioned that you were reaching out to the officers who were previously involved, and I guess I had a similar concern to Mr. Cutler with just the kind of the oscillation of this initiative over the last several months or whatever. I know that could be frustrating in any line of work where you off and in, on again. I am curious if you're able to share like the officers who were part of that, who you reached out to. Was there some degree of like, oh yes, I like doing it and I'm glad we're doing it again? And not even the officers, I guess the other team members as well. Some of the mental health folks, I'm curious, like how have they been managing? Hopefully the C is going to level off a little bit now. And I get you're going to be assessing as you go, but I'm just curious of what this has been like for some of the folks involved.
Oh, no, Ray, that is an excellent question. So I think the officers, we have people who were ready to restart the program the day it was canceled. And we have some people who have reasonable reservations about the commitment. So Chief Lando, Assistant Chief Finansky, I don't know where these titles lay. Assistant Chief Marty Devine, Commander Palermo, Lieutenant Cunningham. There was a room full of, senior officials from the police with intention to demonstrate that the commitment here is across the board. Director Williams. So we did try to show that this was not, this was a unified commitment from the administration in public safety and in the city government, and that, jobs in a political environment are never 100% certain, but that to the degree possible, this is something that we're committing to for the long term. In terms of my colleagues in community health and safety, we recognize that this has also been a lot of change for them, and people are flourishing in various roles. So what we've said is, what do you want to do? Like, where do you see your value? We had some people who said, I'm co-response all day, and they're exactly who we thought they would be, and that's great. And so that's going to be able to fortify those partnerships. And we have people who say, I love crisis response. This is what I'm meant for. And so, Katie, we've been very candid with people that we're not going to force people into police cars who weren't hired to be in police cars. I think that's not right to do to your employees, your colleagues. And I think we have a pretty even split, which is great because a lot of people are gravitating toward the strengths. And so it's not that we're forcing people into one role or forcing them into the other role. I think we will have adequate staffing and competence across the board to do both.
That's great. All right, thank you. Anything else for Mr. Gowski?
Mr. Robinson, I will send out my contact information, which you are welcome to share with the board. Suppose you could put it in public minutes if you want. Certainly my work cell phone, you're welcome to put in public minutes. It's a city cell phone.
We
The
don't do
taxpayers are
that.
paying for it. So,
We don't do that. We won't put
Okay.
it in public. Yep.
Well, it is taxpayer funded. But I want to reiterate, you are welcome to reach out to me absolutely anytime. We want this to work and we want to really be good partners. And I will mention that Director Williams asked that, at least on a provisional basis, that, I be here to support you like as a liaison from the Department of Public Safety. Obviously, I think that's something that you guys formalize with the director, but I'm here. So let me know how I can help.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Laura, I just want to say hi. I haven't seen you in a while. I look forward to working with you. You are always a pleasure. You're awesome. I can't speak highly enough about you, her energy, her personality. So I'm looking forward to it. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Ditto. Ditto. I love seeing the familiar faces on here, and I'm looking forward to meeting the rest of everyone on this very important body. Much
Thank
respect.
you.
Ray, do you want me to drop off after this?
I mean, it's public, so you're welcome to stay,
Okay.
but obviously, we don't have anything else for you. You're welcome to drop off if you want.
Thank you all. Good seeing you, Commander Dixon. I'll text you
Good
later.
seeing you. Take care.
Thank you for
Bye.
your time.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's exciting. Interesting roller coaster with that project, but interested to see where it goes. All right. With that, any unfinished business? I know we didn't meet last month. I don't know if there was anything hanging out from last year, Stephanie.
Nothing unfinished.
All right. Any old business?
No old business.
All right. And if we have any new business, we can entertain that. We won't deliberate it, but we can entertain it right now. And if there is no new business, I think we can move to the case reviews.
I'll share the screen.
All right. Thank you for enlarging that. So I know we've got a few cases, as Stephanie mentioned, a few new cases this year. We've still got some cases outstanding from last year, so I guess we can get through these. But I think we have, 8 cases with a recommendation to authorize a full investigation, and those are cases 01226, 01126, 22425 ED, 22325 ED, 21625, 21025, 20825, 20725. And with that, do we have a motion to authorize a full investigation for those 8 cases?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to authorize a full investigation for those 8 cited cases. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Those 8 cases authorized for a full investigation. Next, we have one case. Looks like we're looking for an authorization for a 30-day extension. That's case 15925. And we'll welcome a motion to authorize a 30-day extension.
Make a motion.
And a second.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion that's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this case or this motion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. This case is authorized for 30-day extension. Next, we have one case, recommendation to authorize dismiss as unfounded. It's case 16625. Do we have a motion for this recommendation?
I'll make a motion.
And a second.
I'll second it.
All right, this motion has been moved and seconded to authorize to dismiss this as unfounded, case 16625. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say no. Ayes have it. This case That motion is approved.
I'm not sure if it matters, but only Miss Dixon and Mr. Kotler are voting. Miss Davis and Mr. Davis and Miss Shields aren't saying anything, and I'm not sure if that matters for the vote count.
Yeah, so would welcome all the members to vote.
Thank you.
Is the next one's on here? Let me see. The others, is that it?
The
Yes,
resolve.
I have them up.
Okay. We have 3 cases. The recommendation to dismiss as resolved. That's case 16125 ED, 15525, 10525. Can I get a motion?
Board motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All right, the motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Let the record show we have a vote in the chat by Mr. Davis of yes. Any no votes? Any votes no? The ayes have it. The motion is approved. Next, we have 1 recommendation to suspend until March 2026. That's case 1325. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion to authorize this case for suspension until March 22nd or 2026. It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Let the record show Mr. Daylon Davis said yay, yes in the chat. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The motion is approved. And then lastly, I think we have 18 cases. We're requesting a continued suspension. Looks like most of these, looks like there's much needing more time for various reasons. I think that's all of them. And I don't believe we need a motion for those. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. That concludes the case review. Thank you all, members. What else we got? I guess our announcements. Our next regular meeting will be 6 p.m. on Tuesday, March 4th. Is the 4th a Tuesday? Is that the day?
24th.
Yep, March 24th via Zoom. Links to the Citizens Police Review Board activities are posted on the website and the Facebook page and our X feed. Lastly, we have public comment. I will open the floor for any public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody who wants to comment?
No comment. Tris and Mark are in the audience. They say hi.
Hello. Thanks for joining us again. With that, I think that concludes what we have on the agenda for tonight.
I'm sorry, there's a question in the chat, it looks like.
Yeah, that's Tristan Mark. They said, thanks for your work.
Oh, okay.
Yep, they're responding back to Mr. Robinson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karina.
Yep. All right. With that, I will welcome a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
1 second, guys. Dalen has a question. Any updates on getting those unresolved cases cleared with the new administration now installed? So the solicitor was just confirmed last week or the week before, and her and Beth haven't met yet, and it's still on the solicitor's desk.
And Beth and I, this is Alec. Beth and I will work through those issues as well, Dalen.
Thank you, Allie.
All right. Thank you, Daylon. Stephanie for the update. We do have a motion to adjourn on the table. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. And those opposed? The ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned at 6:43.